Hello everyone, Uzi here, and I'm going to be talking about the Dot Hack series, Dot Hack Sign, that takes place in the events that occur before Dot Hack infection. The reason I want to do this is that I want everybody to be familiar with the storyline so that when the story starts, you're not totally confused, because it literally starts right after the end of the events of Dot Hack Sign. So, a little background story. The series are based on characters, people who play an MMORPG. That stands for Massive Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game. Basically, the game is called The World, but The World had like a previous version called Fragment. And then Fragment was the beta version of the game, and then it evolved over time to what is called The World. This video game is basically run by a company called CyberConnect Corporation, which they abbreviate to CC Corp. So, basically, the characters that play the world, the first one they show on the show Dot Hack is called Tsukasa. You see him at the very first episode. You just see him on a cave, like in a dungeon. He's unconscious. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know. I mean, he knows who he is, but he has like his memory is like affected somehow. Basically, he's just there. He doesn't know who he is. Then all of a sudden, we are introduced to the second character called Mimiru. They meet, but he totally ignores her. Like, he doesn't want to deal with anybody. He's very antisocial. While he's waiting outside, just minding his own business, trying to figure out who he is, all of a sudden he's intercepted by a group of knights that are called the Crimson Knights. The guy in the middle with the horns is called Silver Knight, which is also one of the main characters of the story. He asks Tsukasa if he's seen a cat player, which they deem as an illegal character, because in the character creation of the game, you really can't create a cat, so they say that it's an illegal modification. And since they've seen him hanging out with him, they think that he's involved in some illegal activities. He ignores them and runs away using a technique that everybody can use in the game that is called gate out. When you gate out of an area, you basically go to a town, which when you get to the town, you just exit through something called a chaos gate. When he arrived in town, he encountered again Mimiru, who begins to ask him questions. She's kind of interested in him, because now the rumors are spreading around that a Wave Master, which is his job or class, is ignoring the warnings of the Crimson Knights. And everybody's like talking, and they don't know him personally, but they know there's somebody who's like doing those things. And she's like concerned. She's like saying, "Hey, you need to behave yourself in the video game. Even if it's a video game, you need to behave yourself." And he's kind of like, he just doesn't care. He's like, well, like, it's just a game. By the end of the day, you can just log out, and it really doesn't matter. He tries that. He tries to log out, but for some reason he just can't. Then he goes about his business, writing a grunty or playing with NPCs of the game. He sort of ignores the fact that he can't log out, but he just continues on forward. Here's where we are introduced to other main characters such as Bear, who comments on his activities, but he ignores him and runs away again. We also see briefly another character called BT. Later on in the story, they reveal the reason for her name. Just her name is just B and T, BT. They reveal that the reason for her name is that she took out her favorite ingredient from a BLT sandwich, and that's basically lettuce. So a lot of people sort of wonder, like, lettuce doesn't really taste like anything, but she says that it's her favorite ingredient. But they reveal that later on. I'm just skipping ahead. They also introduce another main character called Subaru, or how people basically call her in the series Lady Subaru. It's a sort of title because she happens to be the leader of the Crimson Knights, and they ride around town on a boat, sort of like being all prestige and all that. But they're not really an official group. That is, that they don't have any power in the game. All they have is influence. They have a large group, so people don't mess with them. If they see that a character is doing a lot of illegal activities, they report them to CC Corp, and then CC Corp bans their characters. So people don't mess with them because of that. They notice Tsukasa, they're talking about him. That's something that will follow up later. Later he finds again Mimiru, who he asks the awkward question of, can you log out? But to her it's kind of like a stupid question, because if you can't log out of a game, you can always just hit the reset button and you should be able to start all over again. But to him it's impossible to press a reset button, and she doesn't understand why at the moment. He becomes a little rude with her, saying that he just wants to be alone, like they should just ignore each other, but she finds that offensive, slaps him in the face, and she's kind of wondering why he reacted the way he did, because when she walks away, he reveals that he actually felt that slap in his face. Now you're starting to sort of wonder, like is this some game to him, or is this like reality? Later he goes back to the dungeon and he finds the cat player character, whose name is actually Maha. They write it down as M-A-C-H-A, but I believe in the Japanese version they write it down as Maho or something like that, which I believe it means mage. I'm not entirely sure about that. Basically the cat player is floating above a chest. He opens the chest and he gets this stone tablet that a voice speaks to him and says that as long as they walk together, she will always protect him. He doesn't understand in the moment what that means, but he sort of accepts it. He accepts the offer. Then when he's about to exit the dungeon, he encounters once again Silver Knight, who says that his illegal activities are now over. He's gonna defeat him, which is a little funny, because when you kill a character in a video game, you just respawn somewhere else. So I really didn't see the reason of why he did that, but he's sort of sucked into his character. So sometimes I believe that he's like role-playing, like he really believes that he's doing a difference by defeating him when he's not. But they have a little battle. Before the battle, Tsukasa tried to escape using an item called a Sprite Ocarina, but it didn't work. The same way that he did before with Mimiru. Because inside dungeons, you can't just gate out. You need to use a Sprite Ocarina to be warped out to the entrance. And he couldn't use it because apparently he put a barrier on the place and he can't get out. and they battle. Silver Knight is, I believe, a blade master, and since Tsukasa is a wave master, which is sort of like a mage, they don't really stand a chance much with the job class of, you know, the damage dealer slash warrior type characters. So, or it could just be a difference of level. I'm not really sure if there's really relevance to job class, you know, who defeats who, because the wave masters, if they're high level, they can use some pretty impressive spells and defeat their enemies if they wanted to, and they can also heal themselves, so they serve as both to attack and to heal. Silver Knight has the advantage. He's like totally defeating Tsukasa, and the thing is that when he's about to deliver the final blow, all of a sudden a monster appears out of nowhere, and this monster, it's unidentifiable. He doesn't know what it is. He tries to block the attack, but the monster just totally nails it and does something to him that just instantly kills his character. And the monster sort of howls at Tsukasa and then disappears. Silver Knight is dead, and he feels like, I'm the king of the world, like nobody's gonna mess with me. He also says to himself that he doesn't want to log out back to the real world, which he refers to the real world as ludicrous. Like he doesn't care about the real world at all. He just doesn't want to deal with it. So he accepts the fact that he can't log out, and then by the end of the episode, they show the outside world, like an ambulance getting into a house, and they show the real world, Tsukasa, who is unconscious on the floor, and he's not even wearing his goggles, because they don't play in front of a TV. They actually have goggles, sort of like the Virtual Boy, but that's something back in the 90s. I'm not sure if I have older audience who can remember that, but anyway, the story continues with the other characters trying to get close to him, asking him questions, because they become interested in him since the rumors spread now again. Because in this game, on the login screen, you have an option to go to the board, and that's where you you talk to other players through the forums. And in the forums, there is this like topics about a wave master that can summon a monster that defeated one of the Silver Knights, the Crimson Knights. I'm sorry, one of the Crimson Knights, who happens to be Silver Knight. They also rumored that the Silver Knight in the real world was affected to an extent that they actually had to send him to the hospital. So now we're seeing some sort of supernatural occurrences that are extending beyond the world. Mimiru meets Bear. She talks about Tsukasa, the things she knows about him. Everybody sort of, starts to know each other. They introduce, for the first time, another character called Sora. He's a twin blade. He happens to be like one of the most powerful characters of the whole series, and he threatens people to give them their member address, which is the means of communicating with other people and calling them for parties. He encounters himself with BT, asks her for hers. She refuses, and he kills her. But like I said before, this is just a game, so they can always just log back in and it's like nothing really happened. Although in this particular game, if you don't save your game, you lost all the experience you gained up until that point. So she didn't save and she lost a few levels, so that really sucks. Tsukasa is a little worried because he wants to be alone and he just keeps encountering problems. So Maha appears before him and offers him the opportunity to go to an area where apparently nobody will be bothering him at all. It'll be an area that'll be exclusive for him and nobody else will go there. So he takes him to a dungeon. He actually goes through a wall, which Sora was like passing by. He sees Tsukasa, sees that he went through the wall. He tries to go through the wall, but he can't. And that's where he becomes interested in Tsukasa, especially since he's like a collector of member addresses. He's also what people call a player killer, but in this series they also can abbreviate that to PKer, but they don't do that until later Dot Hack games. But for now he's just known as a player killer. So when Tsukasa enters this area, it's like a really pretty area with trees and all that, and he finds a bed with a little girl that is like floating above it, and he hears the voice, the same voice that promised him that as long as they walk together, she would always protect him. This voice, they don't say it at the beginning, but I'm just gonna say it right now, is called Morgana. And yeah, so basically he feels safe. He feels like, yeah, this is really awesome. So now I have a secret area and a guardian that protects me. Everybody else just keeps talking about him. The series do that. The series do that a lot. They just talk a lot. They don't. There's really no action in this series, barely. They managed to communicate with Tsukasa again, who they try and convince him to stop using violence to to attack other players, because they sort of believe that he attacked Silver Knight on purpose. He says that he was just trying to get away and defend himself, but he just wants to be alone, whatever. But then that's where they reveal that the guy in the real world was affected by it, and he sort of freaks out. He really didn't expect that, and Bear goes after him. Then his guardian activated by himself, like on self-defense, and Tsukasa had no way of controlling it. They sort of leave it on a cliffhanger, like Bear's gonna die or something like that. Then when the next episode starts, Silver Knight is already recovered from the hospital. He doesn't remember much of what happened. He knows that he saw a monster, but then he just doesn't remember him collapsing in the real world or anything like that. So at least we know right now that people don't permanently die or anything in the real world when they're attacked by his monster. But they're sort of affected, I guess. Bear is in this episode again. Like, you don't know what happened back there, but they'll explain it by the end of the episode. They're discussing about Tsukasa. Subaru becomes very interested in Tsukasa. She is contacted by Sora, who says that he has a plan, that the only way they can stop Tsukasa is by making some sort of event where all the players are told that if they find him and defeat him, they'll earn like some big reward. It'd be a lie because they have no right to create an event. Subaru kinda doesn't like the idea and she says no at first. So for now, it's a no-go. In one occasion, Tsukasa touches the face of the little girl, and he is sort of transported back to this flashback where he's a little kid and he's trying to feed a cat. Then his dad shows up, slaps him in the face, and takes the cat away. So now at this point, you sort of understand why he doesn't want to log out, and it's that he has an abusive father. So at least we know a little bit more about him. Subaru keeps talking to Sora, who keeps showing up, keeps trying to convince her that they need to do this event to find him. Because, when more players are looking for Tsukasa, somebody's bound to see him somewhere. And then they'll know, and then they can just go over there and try and talk to him. She sort of agrees later on with the idea, even if she doesn't like it very much. Tsukasa trains his guardian because he thinks that if he has no control over it, it's going to become a problem. So the guardian listens to him, obeys his commands and whatnot. So he feels now at this point that nobody should fear him because now he has control over it. He was concerned about it, that's why he bothered. He calls Mimiru to this strange area that is like a church. Nobody else knows about it. It's sort of like an area that not a lot of people explore. And you can't really do anything in this area other than get into the church and get out, so it's not like the other areas. Mimiru refuses to go because she's afraid of him, of the monster, so she sends Bear. Bear screws up because Tsukasa's like, hey look, I can control the monster. Like, nobody should be afraid of me anymore. And then he's like, well, like, am I supposed to be impressed by this? And he's like, okay. Then he goes away and he's like, oops. No, I shouldn't have said that. So, apparently, I think rumors spread that somebody else was hurt or whatever. That's how Subaru was forced to begin that event. They talk about Tsukasa, the whole group at this point, all the characters that have been introduced. I think somebody spread a rumor like that, or I don't know, but I think it's that in the end they explain that the monster, he had like no control over it, and they show flashbacks of the cat player interfering with the monster when it was about to kill Bear. So that's why in this episode he was like not hurt at all. So they know that it's not Tsukasa, it's a cat player that's doing all this evil stuff. At least that's what they suppose at this point of the storyline. And that's where she finally makes her decision to make an event for everybody to find him. And then later on, Tsukasa is told by Morgana that she is, not directly, but she makes him think that she is his dead mother, which is kind of messed up because she's really not. And Subaru is like completely convinced by this point by Sora's continuous insistency about it. Bear has a conversation with Mimiru where he says that he investigated in the real world that somebody was in a coma ever since the exact same date that Tsukasa couldn't log out. And he says that the one that he saw at the hospital was not a guy but a girl. They ask him himself if it's true that he's a girl in the real world, because his character is a guy. He refuses and says, no, I'm a guy, so you got the wrong person in the real world. They're like, well, that's what he says, so what can we do? He's minding his own business, and all of a sudden a bunch of players start attacking him, saying that they want to defeat him, blah blah blah, and then he calls his guardian. He's really confident that he can control it. He can't. The guardian just goes crazy and tortures the players, and they feel pain in the real world, and he's just freaked out, like, I screwed up. And the place where the girl is becomes unpleasant for some reason that later on will be revealed. So, for now, I'm gonna stop here, and on the next one I'll keep explaining. I'm jumping through the episodes as fast as I can, but the series got like 20 something episodes, so I need to try and go in a little detail. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.